Hey everyone, welcome to the Kelly Family Homestead. I wanted to do a video about kind of an update of what I have going on here, but also a little tour of, a tour of what I have going on here, but also maybe a way for some of you to kind of plan out how you're going to lay your homestead out. I use the book by John Seymour, Self-Sufficient Life and How to Live It. I'm going to try to use that as best I can, but my layout's kind of a little odd shape. But first I'll kind of give a little tour, and we'll go into how I'm going to lay things out. So I've picked the area of my property where all the stuff is, because this stuff was just laying all around all over the place. So I have all my pallets here, and then I keep all my tractor implements up here. All my wood posts and my T-posts and fences, and then back there I have my hay ring and tires for my tarps in the garden and my big water tank. So this is kind of my catch-all place, so that way the rest of my property doesn't look like crap. So in my first video I showed you this area here. This was all laid out with posts, and I was going to make this like this big pig pen area where I was going to have a boar and a couple sows and the farrowing pens and stuff. And my reasoning for that was I was going to kind of put like electric fence through here, and so they could rotate around through the field and till it up for me, and then I could plant grass because this is just all weeds and stuff. Not going to do that now, or at least right now, because it's really expensive to find a good sow or a couple good sows. A boar you can get for free, but to get the good sows it's really expensive. So I just decided I was going to till some of it. This area I am going to leave because eventually I do want pigs, and this will be a good spot for them to get kind of working on this and kind of fertilizing the soil a little bit. The cow is going to get sold, hopefully, if I can find someone to buy her. It's just kind of a pain for me to have to find someone with a bull to bring to her, and I don't really want to do AI. So what will end up happening is I'll probably have goats, and that way I can have my own breeding boar right here. And my land's, I can be self-sufficient with the goats where I wouldn't have to buy in any hay or anything like that. I could get all the hay I want right from my land. So essentially this will all, like I said, it'll be fenced in, have rotating pigs through here eventually. But down here is kind of where I'm starting, kind of separating my food plots out for gardens, and I tilled all this up. Like I said, my soil is horrible here, and I don't have all kinds of money to buy a bunch of compost, so this year not much grew. But I don't have much of a green thumb anyway. And so I tilled my garden up, and you can kind of see over there I have some plants in there. But I kind of tilled it up, and I kind of made it kind of go around, because this is all like super wet in here when it, especially in the spring. It's like a river through here. So I tilled all that up. This was where my chickens were originally, and for right now I moved them up there, because that's just going to be lawn, but I needed them out of the way, and especially now because everything's tilled up. And what I'll probably do once it starts to really rain, I'm going to plant carrots and turnips in through here, so at least I can get something into the soil. And then I might undersow it with some clover, and then next year I'll be able to till all that in too, and that'll kind of help with fertility as well. And then here's the next spot. So I tilled all this with a rototiller on my tractor. I was lucky enough my uncle has one. And I tilled it way over there. So there's probably, I don't know, an acre altogether, because there's some up there behind the shed that I tilled. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I have carrots, turnips, and then probably through here. This is like a 50 by 100 rectangle over here. And I'm going to plant buckwheat. Another good fertility thing. If you rototill it back in the spring, it'll give you good fertility, I guess. And then all through this area, so you got a half-acre block here that I planted oats. And again, I'm going to undersow it with clover. I do have oats out here right now. I just planted them. We had a really big rain yesterday, and so hopefully I can get something to grow. Up there, I'm going to plant like a little, or I'll plant oats up there as well. And I do have some beets, and I want to plant some beets somewhere. I haven't figured out where. But anyway, if you read the book, The Self-Sufficient Life and How to Live It, he talks about taking, like I have up there, an acre and a half of grass, and then all your other plots are, you have like 8 half-acre plots, or for me, they'll probably be like quarter-acre plots. And each plot would have, one plot would be root vegetables, and then the next one's wheat, and then the next one's oats, and the next one's, other garden stuff. And every year you rotate those around, and your grass stays grass for 3 years, but then eventually you're going to till up part of that grass, and then you're going to move to, so that you don't have everything in the same spot all the time. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to work toward. Now, I did at the beginning, before I started to rototill, I took a York rake. My neighbor has a York rake, and I borrowed that because I wanted to get stuff like this big stick and all these little sticks and stuff out before I rototilled. Well, I watched a guy on YouTube do that, and it worked really well for him. But I just don't think he had the amount of sticks that I had. About like every 2 seconds, I had to get off the tractor, empty out the rake, because they'd all get kind of stuck inside the rake, and it would just ride up over everything else, and my field's just too big. So eventually I just stopped doing that because it was a waste of my time, and I tilled it. And it worked fine. So I think, I don't know, I guess I'm not really good at kind of explaining things, but what I'm going to do is, if I have all these oats here, by the time these grow, I should be able to get a first crop out of them with my hay baler, and make oat hay. And then next spring, I'll be able to till it all in, and that'll add some fertility here. And then so maybe like half of this section here would be turnips, and then the next half would be potatoes. And then up there, those oats up there, that's just going to be grass, because it's kind of part of my little lawn area. So that'll be oats, but then next spring I'll till it in, and I'll plant regular grass in the spring. This section through here, same thing, it will be oats at first, but next year it might just be corn, just kind of moving things around. And then hopefully I'll be able to overseed all that next spring, or maybe do some frost seeding with it as well, and frost seed some clover in, because the grass is coming. It's just slow, and I just got to keep it mowed down so the grass can take over the weeds. And up here, when you get closer to the garden, this little section here, I think is going to be where I have blueberries and blackberries kind of alongside the edge of the garden. And then over here, right here, I'll have like apple trees and maybe like some pear, pear trees, apple trees, all that. So it's just kind of a slow process, as you can see, but hopefully I'll get there. And hopefully being able to plant some stuff in all these places will be able to add some fertility to the soil so I can get things to grow. But that's kind of an update of what we have going on here. Kind of give you an idea of how slow things are going when you're starting your homestead. And I'll try to get another video out maybe in a couple weeks. I'm still working on finding pigs, so if I do, I'll be building like probably a pallet enclosure and all their little fairwing sheds and stuff out of pallets. And I'll also, what I'll do is on the inside of the pallets, I'll run a strand of electric so that way they don't beat the pallets all up. But stay tuned. Next video, we'll be doing something different, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update of what's going on. Okay, thanks. Don't forget to subscribe.